team is conformed by Karla, Olmedo, Luisa, Castillo, Aixa, and me, Fernanda Hernández. Today we are going to tell you about the Great Wall of China. And let's start. The Great Wall of China is a series of fortifications that were built across the historical northern borders of ancient Chinese states and Imperial China, and is one of the largest building construction projects ever undertaken. It was built in different areas by different states or dynasties to protect different territorial borders, but we are going to go deeper in that later.
It started being built in the 7th century before Christ, and it's often said that the first emperor of Qin built the Great Wall, but some research has proven that it was not quite like that. Actually, in the pre-warring state period, that was between 770 and 221 before Christ, a Qin state duke first built walls to prevent invasion from other states. The thing here was that they were separate walls, not just one, as we know now. They were put in different places in what we know as China, and they were to accomplish this objective. Then in the Qin dynasty, that was between 221 and 207 before Christ, the Emperor Qin unified these state walls to secure China's northern border. Here is where these separate walls became just one, and that's why many people say that he was the one that built it. Then in the Han dynasty, that was between 206 before Christ and 220 after Christ, the Great Wall was extended to protect Silk Road trade. Here it just became bigger and to protect the Silk Road. Then in the Ming dynasty, that was between 1368 and 1644, was built most of today's Great Wall, the one that we know nowadays, and also it was restored. It became as big as we know now, bigger because nowadays there is part missing. Then in the Qing dynasty, that was between 1644 and 1911, this emperor didn't do anything at all in this wall. He even forbade it, so we have nothing to talk about this dynasty. And nowadays, it's how we know this Great Wall. There are people restoring it, protecting it, and taking care of it since 1957.
Mainly, the Great Wall of China was built to fortify China's northern border and to prevent it from invasions. The Great Wall has been the site of multiple battles and fights between the Chinese and various people across history, including the Xiongnu during the Qin dynasty, the Khitans during the Song dynasty, and the Mongols during the Ming dynasty. But actually, another use they gave to it was to protect the Silk Road trade.
But who really built it? I think we can all agree to assume that it was all work from the citizens. The majestic Great Wall was built with wisdom, dedication, blood, sweat, and tears. Families were separated, and many workers died and were interned as part of the Great Wall. Soldiers, peasants, and rebels were the ones that did all the effort. They used stone for the mountain areas on the outer layer of the wall, local soil on the panes, that actually some of these parts remain intact until today. Sand to fill between reed and willow layers, and brick for the wall to be as strong as possible. This began delivered from huge distance away by hand, ropes, carts, and animals.
The design is composed by three main parts. The first one is the wall body. The Great Wall usually had battlements of 1.8 or 6 feet high with loopholes and crenelles, and parapet walls 1.2 meters or 4 feet high. The design is composed by three main parts. The first one is the wall body. The main Great Wall usually had battlements of 1.8 or 6 feet high with loopholes and crenelles, and parapet walls 1.2 meters or 4 feet high. The second part are the flanking towers. Every 500 meters or less, like 1,640 feet, on the Great Wall, there was a flanking tower allowing defenders to shoot arrows at attackers at the face of the wall. And finally, the third part are the fortresses, where ruled at important and vulnerable access points or passes, such as Shanghai Pass Fortress, Duvignau Pass Fortress, and Yayu Pass Fortress. There were many archery windows and gates on the forts, and the first gatehouse were the strongest and most impregnable structures on the Great Wall.
At the end, it lasted centuries to have it as we see it right now, with a total height of between 5 and 8 meters, and 21,196 kilometers long. The western end is known as the Jiayuan Pass, and the other one is located at the Bonghai Sea. But unfortunately, 30% plus of the Great Wall is gone due to natural erosion and human damage. The Great Wall is a symbol of power. It represents the unification of China because it was united with each other as China in the Qin dynasty.
Some facts about the Great Wall of China are: 1. It was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1987. 2. It is also one of the 7 wonders of the modern world. 3. Its length equals half of the length of the equator. 4. It's very much said that it's kind of like a large cemetery because many people died there from wars and all this stuff. But no one has ever found a corpse in there, so till today, this is not confirmed. And 5, against a very popular rumor, it cannot be seen from the moon.
In conclusion, borders are important since they are the same for countries as fences are for neighborhoods, means of delimitation, indicative that one side is different from the other. They limit the political rules that exist in each of them, and therefore to follow the rules when we go from one country to another. Otherwise, it will be completely different, and it will be a disaster of not following those policies and rules. Clearly, delineate borders and their control either by walls or fences or by security patrols are essential. But many people take this as an excuse to believe themselves superior to other countries, generating an increase of discrimination, and as a result of this, generating conflicts. We consider this as the only bad thing of the borders.